And we're back with Let's Talk Autism, and we are joined now in the studio by a wonderful autism mom and community activist, Erin Murphy.
We're
happy to be here.
We're so thrilled that you're here. I cannot believe that this is the first time that we have had you on the show in this format, because we've had you on in live events.
Yes.
And that's been such a treat. And thank you for being so kind and talking to us when we're on the red carpet.
Always happy to.
Because not everybody does, you know, but you've always been wonderful to us. And it just seems crazy that we haven't had you in before, but I'm glad it worked out that we could have you this time.
I'm here today, so let's make the best of it.
There you go. And in just a couple of weeks, you are about to get a really coveted award from Autism Cares Today, and very deserved, by the way.
Thank you.
Nancy, tell them a little bit about what the Cowgirl Award
is. The Golden Cowgirl Award. It's given to a community activist who exemplifies the mission of providing necessary resources to help individuals with autism achieve their full potential.
Wow, and I think that fits very well. It's very deserved for you to get this award.
I was so flattered when I got the call. I was surprised and excited.
Yeah, well, you're always out there talking about being an autism mom and talking about the state of autism, and
absolutely,
you're extremely vocal about that, which a lot of people with children on the spectrum choose not to do, but you embrace it wholeheartedly.
Well, I think it's important, and I've always said, since whatever small amount of fame I have, I am at a lot of events where I'm asked to speak, and I would always rather speak as something that's important and means something to me. So I've always had different platforms, and obviously since my son Parker has autism, I have spoken about it vocally since he was diagnosed.
Tell
us about that. Yeah. Tell us about your journey with Parker and his diagnosis.
Yeah, well, his was like a lot of people's. Everyone's journey is different and the same in some ways. He was developing normally. He was right on track, talking, happy. One day he had a seizure, and we went in, and by the time he was 3, we did a battery of tests. He lost all language, and he was diagnosed at 3.
Okay.
Which is kind of, because how old is he now?
He's 18. He just turned 18.
So to get a diagnosis at 3 all those years ago, it's a little bit remarkable, because not everybody did.
Right.
So you were really on it, and maybe a little lucky, can we say?
I would say very proactive. I had concerns because he literally lost his language.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'd also just had a new baby, and our pediatrician said, well, a lot of times when there's a new baby, the older child stops speaking. So my pediatrician did not diagnose him, kept kind of brushing off my concerns. And at 3, I went into the school district, and actually a school district diagnosed him. They did the battery of tests, and he started in a special day class when he turned 3.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, he went to school with my son.
He did.
When they were younger.
Is that how you two met?
We did. We did. My son Parker used to be best friends with Wyatt. They loved each other very much.
And you have this whole other thing in your life that we haven't really mentioned, but I think we've mentioned before when you were coming on, that you have a huge claim to fame that is like a big warm fuzzy for a lot of us. That you were Tabitha on Bewitched.
I was a child actor and then an adult actor, but I'm most known for being on Bewitched. It ran for 8 years on ABC.
Which is, still, I mean, I get giddy thinking about this. My family just visited Salem, Massachusetts earlier this year, and it was a thing. We had to go. I was like, we have to find the Elizabeth Montgomery statue, and I have to get a picture.
And I unveiled it for TV Land. I was there to unveil the statue. Yes.
I mean, it's a big deal. The show is a big deal.
The show was so popular,
right? I mean, and it still lives on.
And it travels well. It translates to other languages extremely well. So it's on in over 100 countries. Still, it's on in prime time some places.
And are you sick and tired of people coming up to you and doing this to you?
It would be easy to say I am, but I'm not. People are always nice about it, and even though I've heard the same questions over and over, I have to keep in mind that it's their first time asking that question, and I never want someone to walk away thinking that I'm not a nice person, so I'm always gracious and answer questions.
And you are always, okay, so what's the number one question that people ask always?
They usually ask me to twitch my nose, or they ask me what Elizabeth Montgomery was like, and if I can still do magic. Little kids think I can really do magic, which is kind of fun.
What was it like doing that show as a child? Was it?
You know, it's the only childhood I had, so people think it would be strange, but that was the normal for me.
Right.
So I just had great experiences, and I was the only kid on the show for most of the run, so they made it fun for me. And it was, you know, there's magic and animals, and it was colorful, and it was a fun experience.
But you were very little. Do you remember a lot of it?
I do. I was 8 when the show ended, so I
Okay.
remember a lot.
But how old were you when it started? Because I just remember you being tiny.
Yeah, I started right before I turned 2.
Okay, that's like crazy.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. Well, what a fun thing to have in your background.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there have been lots of conversations in life where somebody has met you and not known that, and then at some point that comes up and goes, oh yeah, well I was a child star on one of the most popular sitcoms of all time.
Yeah.
Is it sort of stunning for people when they're like, what?
People are very surprised, and almost everyone knows and loves the show. So, I mean, even kids these days, like I'll meet teenagers and I think, well, they wouldn't know Bewitched, but they do. And they said, oh, I watched it with my mom, and I watched it on Nickelodeon. And
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to have. In, you know, to just trot out, like, I mean, there's nothing negative about it.
No.
What a wonderful thing.
And it's funny because you hear stories about kid actors who have struggles when they're an adult. And for me, I mean, I'm eternally optimistic. As a mom with a child with autism, you have to be.
Right.
But I only see the positive. I mean, I did make a nice amount of money. I was able to still travel the world because of something I did when I was a kid. I mean,
awesome.
it's a positive thing, not a negative thing.
There we go. Wonderful. And then that has led to you being on the, you know, that and the other work that you've done in your life has led to you being on the red carpet and people asking you to speak out. I think we all attend a lot of events that have a red carpet that have something to do with autism.
Yeah.
It can be a struggle for people who are coming on the red carpet that, you know, often they will be in a back room saying, what do I need to know? Because I'm going to be asked to speak intelligently about this.
Yeah.
But you already have that. And I think a lot of times we all, you know, glom on you because you have authority on which to
Because
speak
I
about
lived
this.
the life, yes, yes.
And so does it feel like a responsibility? Does it feel like a privilege? What does it feel like
I
to have
think it's
that?
sort of both. I've never thought of it as a responsibility, but I think it's important to have someone who's willing to talk about it, that people do kind of see out there. So I think it's a responsibility, I guess, that way. But I'm always happy to talk about it, and that my life is really no different than anyone else's. And sometimes I feel like I'm doing a disservice because I put a pretty picture to it where I'll have a picture with Parker and we're at an event, we're smiling. But I mean, I have, you know, days as rough as anyone else's. I mean, you know, it can be bad when it's bad. So I think it's important to be honest about it.
And he's 18 now, so this is a big year for you guys, right?
What are your future plans for Parker?
Well, he's in a great school. He goes to the help group here in the Valley, and that was a very little fight, but it was a fight to have the public school who didn't have the resources for him. I had to go with his dad, and we kind of talked to a group of people, and we didn't get a lawyer. We did it ourselves and explained what they weren't able to offer and that our son needed services they couldn't provide. So the school district is paying for the private school until he turns 22.
Okay.
So we feel lucky about that. I'm kind of living it day by day because I know that things will change by the time he's out of school. So the things that are available now, there might be so many more things available when we get to the next step. So I talk to everyone. I talk to Nancy about it because, I mean, there will be a time where I'm not here, and I still need to know that Parker's safe and has a happy, productive life.
And please tell me if I'm asking anything that's too personal, because we always
Nothing's too personal. Well, so, I'm sure nothing about Parker is too personal.
But have you guys? So he's turned 18 now.
Yes, Jess.
Did you make determinations about conservatorship and?
We're in the process. I will be his conservator. We're in the process of that now, since they actually said you do the whole thing when he's 18. So the principal of his school has walked me through it, and we're in the process of it.
Because that's, you know, a very trying time from what I hear from parents and all those decisions. You know, that I know that there are other places in the country where people don't have a program. So that, and then we really talk about going off the cliff. But even here in Los Angeles, when you have a program, first of all, you got to pick the program, right? And that's a hard thing.
Yes.
But then on top of that, that there's a whole other legal concern that seems a little intimidating.
Right. Well, because the minute he turns 18, he's allowed to make his own decisions,
Yeah.
but he isn't physically able to.
Yeah. So I just wanted to address that because I think that, you know, both of you can speak to this, that it's trying and it raises some anxiety and I'm sure, and that it's time consuming. And maybe I haven't met them yet, but I don't know an autism parent that goes, yippee, paperwork, I'm so good at that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just adds to the overwhelm.
You almost get used to it, though. I mean, I had always anticipated, but by this time I would be back working full time, and I've done some things like being a correspondent and done some things in entertainment, but I physically can't like go audition for a sitcom because it's a day-to-day thing. I mean, it seems like I have meetings every week. We have behaviorists in our home 5 days a week. We have Bria aides in our home, 7 days a week. We have so many resources that there are constantly meetings and things that have to be done.
It's a
And calls
full-time
from
job.
school.
Yeah.
He's in a great school that has wonderful resources, but I still get called. I got a call yesterday and had to go pick him up early.
There
He was
you
having a
go.
tough day.
It's a full-time job.
It sure is.
Even with an 18-year-old. So in terms of, I know you said you're taking it day by day, and I don't want to add to your stress, but
You won't.
what, a lot of what we talk about on the show for individuals this age range is about what's the road to employment. Because I got my mind adjusted by Joanne Laura on this, that, I was like, well, some people will work and some people won't. And her thing is, no, everybody has a path to employment. And we saw this week that Wyatt just got his first paycheck ever.
I saw that
Yeah.
online.
Right?
It
How
made me so
amazing
happy.
was
Glorious
that?
Pies. He went and sold Glorious Pies and was a greeter at the theater where a play that was benefiting Autism Works Now was playing.
What did that feel like for him getting
He
the
was
paycheck?
proud. He was
Yeah.
Of
like,
course he was.
my paycheck. I said, we're going to have to open up a bank account. for
Right?
it." Yeah.
We had to do that this summer with my son, and the pride in that. So, what have you thought about for employment for him? What I know you've got stuff
It's a
happening.
tough one. Parker is severely impacted by autism, so he has some language, but I mean he still has explosive behavior. So it's kind of a day-by-day thing. The thing that we've tried just lately that seems to be a great passion for him is surfing.
Really?
And I found these wonderful surf programs in Malibu that are free.
Wonderful.
Free.
Yes, which was just what you want to hear.
You're right.
But it's just these great groups of people, and they do surfing clinics and week-long camps that are free. And
Okay.
Parker went to one this summer. He'd surfed
great.
a couple times before. He'd been to one-day programs for different
Right.
ones, and he went to a week-long camp. And now that the instructors from there bonded with Parker, and we meet with them once a week. They come to our house. We meet at the beach, and they take Parker out surfing, and they're
Wow.
just doing it. It's just goodwill. It just warms my
fantastic.
heart. It's amazing.
What an amazing
Yeah.
thing. I bet Wyatt, has he surfed?
Wyatt would
Yeah,
probably.
Wyatt surfs. He's done Surfers
Oh.
Healing.
Yeah,
Wow.
Surfers Healing is what we started with, but that's
Right.
only one day a year.
Right.
We found one that it was called the Mighty Underdogs.
Okay.
And they're year-round in Malibu.
Okay.
And
Wow.
it's the greatest thing, and they're always at the same beach. And his one instructor, pal, Parker knows it's his friend, and we meet at the same beach, and there are other surfers there that he now knows, and I just want him to be happy.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
What
Maybe
a
I'll have to
wonderful,
look into that.
Absolutely.
wonderful thing.
Yes.
Okay, so on October 6th, we're all going to be at the Four Seasons, and you're going to get this award.
I am.
Have you already thought about where you're going to put this award?
No. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to wear or what I'm going to
know.
say.
All right, well, that's going to come soon. All
Of
too soon,
course,
you're going to
of
have to
course.
figure that out.
Right.
And it's important to note that there are 3 wonderful awards being given out that night. And as I said before, I'm sitting here with 2 of the 3 awards.
I'm
that
getting
Nancy's
the
also.
Legacy Award.
Yes, very
And Doreen-
deserved.
Dr. Grant Boucher is getting the Visionary Award.
Very deserved as well. So I love it because I'm like, look at these 3 amazing women who have 3 different paths that have greatly impacted this community in a positive way. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. For parents who are watching, who maybe are at the beginning of this road, what advice do you have?
Oh boy. Don't be afraid to ask for things and do a lot of research. And my first interaction with the regional center was very negative, where they basically said, tell us what you want so we can cross things off the list.
Wow.
And I thought, that's not right. So I started reading everything, and I did a lot of legwork on my own to find out what was available. and what to ask for. And so it's kind of try everything, do everything, because different things work at different times in your child's life and for different kids. I mean, Parker started talking because of music, the music program at an elementary school. He started singing Beatles songs before he said a word. And then we did therapeutic riding together for years, and now he seems to love surfing. So different things kind of get through to them at different times. So try everything.
Try everything.
Be optimistic. You have to.
Yeah.
You have
I love
to.
that.
Yeah, it's one thing I've told all my children, and now they kind of quote me. You can't choose what comes at you in life. You can't choose how other people act, but you have complete control over how you react. So with any situation, good or bad, you can laugh or cry, and it's better to laugh. And boy, I've laughed at things that most people would cry about.
Right.
And you have 7 children?
I have 6. It seems like
6.
7.
I can't believe she has 6 children.
I do. I have 6 boys and now 4 grandchildren.
Wow.
You don't look like a grandmother.
You don't look
Well,
like
it's
a
because I'm
grandmother.
down crawling around and playing with them.
That'll keep you young. Well, and you mentioned before that sometimes you're afraid that you make it look like it's not as hard as it is, and it's important to be optimistic.
Yeah.
But the other side of it, do you have days when, because there are parents who are watching who have 18-year-olds who are greatly impacted, who are stuck in a space of saying, why has this happened to my child? Why has this happened to me?
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
I think with anything in life, you just have to let go and accept it. Like, this is happening. How do we make it better? What can we do what can I do to make sure Parker's happy? What can, kind of figuring your way through that. And also, I mean, especially where in families that have other children, you have to be able to live your family's life without the entire focus being on the child with autism, which is hard to do.
Yeah,
so you have to make sure, I mean, for me, I would always plan times where, okay, Parker's working with an aide or Parker's at school, I'm going to take Carson out to a movie. So it's kind of a balance that you have to have your own life, and you have to have friends and a life too. You can't let everything get so wrapped up in a diagnosis.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned that Parker's living at home right now.
Yes.
Is that the plan for the foreseeable future?
It's the plan for as long as I can do it, I think. I mean, yeah, I've heard things, and we've had a couple bad experiences. So I think for us, being at home is the best thing for him. And we have aides available that are covered by the regional center. I mean, there's help out there if you need it. You just have to know what's available and ask for it. So my goal is to keep him at home.
And when you mentioned, because you brought it up, I'm going to reiterate, but you brought it up that someday there will come a day when you won't be here anymore. Is there a plan yet for who he will live with when that happens?
Yeah, what we're thinking now is maybe having a home that we purchase or a condo that we purchase, and then maybe another individual or 2 with autism, and then the aides come in and out of that home, where it wouldn't be a traditional group home. It'd be more like a parent-run group home, so you have a little more control.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
That's what we're thinking now.
That's absolutely incredible. Well, we adore you. You've always been lovely, and I don't want to speak for both of us, but I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Autism moms to autism moms, it's been really lovely to watch you stand up. See, yeah, that's going to make me emotional. But look, it's not right for everybody. Like, we don't want to make anybody feel bad if they're not in the position to say that their child, like, everybody has to make their choice. But anytime somebody does, it helps the rest of us along the way.
Absolutely.
It helps us to be able to, both of us have fought really hard to get information to families, but when you speak out, it makes it that much easier.
Yeah,
so
I'm
thank
happy
you
to
for
do it.
doing that. And well-deserved award, and we look forward to being there at Denim and Diamonds to celebrate both of you and
October
Dr.
6th
Greg
at 5:30. There's still tickets available.
Yes, if people would like to attend this event, and it's always a star-studded event, it's a really great, I always say people come to LA for a vacation and they go, where can I go to meet stars? And they want to go to like this Menchie's and that Whole Foods and whatever, and they hang out to stalk and see if they can meet stars. And I got to say, that's very hit and miss. You may meet somebody, but likely that you wouldn't, right? If you really want to meet people, what you should do is schedule your vacation to come for one of these events. And it is a little pricey, but there are,
$2.50 a ticket.
it's $2.50 a ticket, and if you're on
It is a
vacation,
fundraiser.
it is a fundraiser for a really good cause, and you come and you will be there, and you're in the same room with the stars. You know, people are, you know, going to the same restroom. I'm saying there's opportunity to meet and greet and talk. It's not a private meeting with people, but you know, you've been to these things and people will come up to you and they'll be like, hi, I just want to introduce myself. Can I get a selfie with you?
Of course.
And I think that, you know, stars know that's going to happen and have an expectation, and they kind of play along, you know, to a certain extent.
Well,
You
at
can't
a
be
thing-
obnoxious.
At a thing like this, the people who are there because they support the organization.
Right.
So everyone has an interest in autism. So, I mean,
Yes.
it's a great event to go to.
So there are still tickets.
Yes.
But if you are too far away and it's not in your price range, and that is a lot of people, and I'm aware of that, tune in to watch us. I think red carpet starts at 5. Am I
5.
mistaken on that? So at 5 o'clock, we will be live on the air, Autism Live on our Facebook page.
Right.
And as we said the other day, we don't have the truck and the 7 cameras, and I'm throwing it to you now. So you get to see everything, warts and all. You get to see me make a fool of myself on many occasions and say things come out of my mouth that I don't have time to think about. But more importantly, you get to see all the things that the stars say and how they react, because they're used to things being pre-taped. And we always say when people come up, you know, we're live on Facebook right now, and then everything sort of changes and morphs.
And I love that. I love live.
Right? I mean, there's nothing like live. The good and the bad, you know, and everything in between. But so you will have an opportunity to watch, and then of course we'll recap after that, the week after on the show. Thank you so much
you,
for all the
Erin.
work that
Of
you
course.
do
Happy
and for
here.
being
Happy to
here.
be here.
It means so much to us. And good luck to you and your whole family.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.